All right, thank you guys. Cathay Life takes on Taiwan in a 5 a.m. Eastern start time. Cathay's the 40-point favorite, totals 157 juice to the over. And following Tuesday's sports wagering action, I improved to 10-0 in my last 10 extra daily pick tier package plays on patreon.com/BrockPage. And that's a website where I sell really great sports pick subscriptions beginning at just $1.99 through the end of the month. Now, the daily extra pick is one of those packages that I sell, as I'm also 15-3 in my last 18 picks in that category as well. And that's good for 83% over the course of the past, nearly 3 weeks in that package. I also have a bunch of different great memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. And if you want to check out the website, maybe browse a little bit, check out my current record, it's located right on the homepage, and the link for that website is in the description section below. That's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, Cathay's undefeated on the season. Matter of fact, they haven't lost a game in like 3 years, but they're coming fresh off a 40-point victory over Taiwan Power, where they held them just 9 points in the third quarter. Their average margin of victory thus far in the season is 40.2 points per contest. They're also holding their opponents to just 57 points per contest in their last 4. They're taking on a Taiwan squad who's coming off a 29-point beatdown at the hands of Chunwa Telecom. They also lost to Taiwan Power in their last game before that. Taiwan has dropped 4 out of their last 6 with an average margin of defeat of 40 points in their last 4 losses. This line is sharp. Now, total-wise, Taiwan's last 3 straight stayed under the total of 157. 5 out of their last 7 also stayed under that number. Meanwhile, on the other side, Cathay saw their last 3 straight stay under that total themselves. 6 out of their last 8 also stayed under the 157. Give me Cathay Life minus 40, getting the job done against the number. And the under 157 in that game. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to the video. Got some lines and personal leans out for Thursday's basketball action. But before we dive into some more of that, I just have to quickly remind you once again that after Tuesday's sports wagering action, I improved to 10-0 in my last 10 extra daily pick premium plays on patreon.com/BrockPage. And of course, once again, that's a website where I sell really great sports pick subscriptions beginning at just $1.99 through the end of the month. Exceptional value. There's also a bunch of different great memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. Now, one of those packages, like I said earlier, is called the Extra Daily Pick Tier Membership. It's only $2.99 through the end of the month. That's $2.99 through the end of the month. And in addition to going 10-0 in my last 10 in that category, I'm also hitting at 15-3 in my last 18 picks in that membership as well. And that's good for 83% over the past nearly 3 weeks of action in that category. Guys, I strongly recommend you at least consider, using the website for sports picks. They're my personal plays, games that I personally have action on. And once again, that is patreon.com/BrockPage. And with that said, let's go ahead and move on. I'm talking about Chunwa Telecom taking on Taiwan Power, 7 a.m. Eastern tip-off. Chun was the 10-point favorite, totals 144 and a hook. And if you like Tai Power in an upset, they're plus 375 for some plus money cash. Now, Tai Power is coming off a 40-point loss to Cathay Life. They were held to just 9 points in the third quarter in that contest. They also dropped 3 out of their last 4, averaging just 59 points per contest in those games. Now, Taiwan Power's 2-9 record in their last 11 is good for just 18% during that stretch. They're taking on a Chunwa team who's coming fresh off a 29-point drubbing of Taiwan, holding them to just 10 points in the third quarter in that matchup. They've been victorious in 2 out of their last 4 as well, including a victory over this very Tai Power squad, holding them to just 61 total points in that game. Now, scoring-wise, 4 out of Chunwa's last 6 stayed under the total of 144.5. Meanwhile, on the Tai Power side of things, 2 out of their last 4 stayed under that number themselves. So with all that said and done, all that in mind, give me Chunwa Telecom minus 10 and the under 144 and a hook in that game. Next matchup, German Bundesliga basketball. I'm talking about the Freiburg Skyliners squaring off against Rasta Vechta in a 1:30 a.m. I'm sorry, that's not 1:30 a.m. I messed that up. But anyway, Rasta's the 1.5 point favorite. Total's 154.5. And if you like the Skyliners, they're minus $1.15 for an outright victory. Now the Skyliners have lost their last 2 straight, averaging just 75 points per contest in those games. They've also dropped 8 out of their last 9. They're taking on a Rasta team who's won 2 out of their last 4 themselves, throwing out that Ludwigsburg game. They held their opponents to just 69 points on average in those 2 victories. Now, total-wise, Rasta's last 2 straight got over the total of 154 and a hook. They also saw 4 out of their last 5 get over that number. Meanwhile, on the Freiburg side, their last 3 got over that number themselves. Give me Rasta Vechta, minus 1.5, and the over 154 and a hook in that game. Next and final matchup for the show, it is going to be Ludwigsburg taking on Bamberg, 2:30 p.m. Eastern tip-off. Bamberg's the 3.5 point favorite, totals 162. And if you like Ludwigsburg in an upset, they're plus $1.30 for some money line cash. And despite being the underdog in this one, Ludwigsburg, is coming off an 80-77 victory over Freiburg in their last outing. They've also won their last 7 straight, holding their opponents to just 78 points or less in 6 out of those 7 victories. They're taking on a Bamberg team who's coming fresh off a 98-91 loss to Alba Berlin. They also dropped 2 out of their last 3, giving up 103 points per contest on average in those 2 losses. Now, total-wise, Bamberg's last 3 straight flew over the total of 162. Meanwhile, 4 out of Ludwigsburg's last 8 got over that total themselves. Give me Ludwigsburg plus 3.5, getting the job done against the number, and the over 162 in that game. All right, shout-outs from our Patreon platform. Shout out to Don Rush, G. Wang, Kurt Pfeiffer, John Johnson, Serge Brook, Matthew Reeve, Tim Lansing, Jimmy Cora, Chris Dewberry, and Nick Miller. Next from our Instagram platform, shout out to Will Slade, Keto Borowich, LA Sport Management, Carly Brenneman, the Olympic athlete, Carly Brenneman. Shout out to No Face Model. She's got no face. She covers it up. Luca Rosano, Zebra97, Gorkali Sports Hub, Carlos Ramirez, and Ryan Weiss. And finally, from our YouTube platform, shout out to Stephen Lewis, David Arango, GTA Gamer Girl, Hot Boy Chris, Teddy Choba, Mark White, SOP LFD Striker, Mark Phillips, Jason Clark, and last but certainly not least, gotta give a shout out to my man, Jamal Muhammad. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon, but most importantly, guys, I gotta thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Wednesday or Thursday to you, depending on when you're watching this. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/rockpage.